Hey there, good morning everyone. It is Ilona Sanders. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Success TV Live, where we are lighting the way to help you create a clear path forward. I am dedicated to delivering personal and spiritual empowerment that will be the catalyst for true transformation in your life. Why don't you take this moment to go ahead and tag a friend, go ahead and thumbs up and like this video, share this video so that others can come in and they can join us. So we are so happy and so thankful and so grateful for everyone that has gathered here this morning. And we're just going to get right in and dive into our topic. So let's bring our hearts and our mind present by taking a good healing deep breath in. And on the exhale, we sit in this sacred moment. We're so thankful and we're so grateful for all that is granted to us today. I want to talk to you today about something that's really dear to my heart, and that is all about waking up. It's time to wake up. I mean, time to wake all the way up. Good morning, good morning. I can't see who that was, but thanks so much for joining in and connecting with us this morning. All right, it's really time to wake up. And what I mean by that, it's time to wake up. It is time for you to really allow yourself to ascend into a consciousness that will allow your life to be all that it is supposed to be. Good morning, Delitha. Thanks for joining us this morning, right? It is time to really allow yourself to fully wake up. And so what I want to talk to you about today, good morning, Margot. Thanks for joining. I missed you guys last week. I was with the grands on vacation, and oh my goodness, it was something else. All right. So listen, it is time to fully and completely wake up. And this is what I want to talk about. This is what's near to my heart today, is that the very thing that should be liberating you and setting you free can very well be the thing that is binding your life and holding you back. And that's what we want to correct. We don't want to see that happening in this day and time in our life. So the very thing that should be liberating you could be the thing that is binding you. The writer of John 8:36 record this. If therefore the Son has set you free, you are free indeed. Whom the Son set free is free indeed. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So the question that I have today, and I want to ask this question: how free are you? How free are you? Or what does it mean to be free indeed? And so we want to take a sober look at where we are positioned in our life, but particularly those of us that are still in some type of bondage in your mind, and the bondage is coming from fear. Listen, let me say it to you like this. Let me just say it to you like this. We know that the word religion means to bind. Good morning, Luana. Thanks for joining. We know the word religion means to bind. And it means to bind to a certain ritual, a certain belief, a certain system, a certain structure. Anything that you do habitually, every day without fail, is what we call being religious. That's why we say, oh, he brushes his teeth religiously, or she does this religiously. It literally means to bind to a system, an activity, a belief, or structure. So when I say it's time to wake up, in this day and time, beloved, you cannot allow the very thing that was supposed to bring you liberty and freedom be the thing that binds you in all kind of fear, where you are going through life wearing a mask. So when I think about myself, for example, and I like to talk about me, not that you will be a voyeur in my life, but hopefully that something I say will shine a light to help you see into your life so that you can begin to make the adjustments and the changes. When I look at my life and I look at my spiritual journey, and for many of us that are here, we came through the door of Christianity. We came through the door of Islam, came through the door of Judaism, came through the door of many other religions. And the reason why I'm speaking about all of this, and I'm going to talk about my own experience in a moment, is because your religion, your faith, and your belief should not be something that binds you to fear. So we're talking about how it's time to wake up, and we're talking about how free are you, if you are really free indeed. So the very thing that should be liberating you, setting you free, can very well be the thing that's binding you. So when you think about your own religious experience or your own experience in belief in God, all of that should have been a door that you went through. I want you to hear me very clearly. It should have been a door that you went through to set you on a spiritual path, to set you on a spiritual journey. So when we think about our experience coming into religion, it was a wonderful experience. For some of you, it saved your life. Some people were in a dire condition. They were at death's door. They were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Lisa. Thanks for joining. Right? And so going through that door of your religious experience was good for people. It was beautiful for people. It saved their lives. Some people were at death's door. They were scraping the bottom of the barrel. They were in all kinds of addictions and self-loathing, and they went through that door, and it was a good thing. But the very thing that saved your life should now not have your life from bondage. It shouldn't have your life limited. So when we talk about going through that door and having that experience, that door was supposed to set you on a spiritual path. Love you, Shauna. It was supposed to set you on a spiritual path. It was not supposed to be something that binds you to fear. So when I look at my own experience, my own religious experience in the Christian community, first of all, when I came in, I was already conscious of who I was and what I believed. But after I got in, and I want you to hear this, because this is where the bondage come in. This is why you're not having the freedom and the liberty that you need to have to live the life that you're here to live. So when I came in, so now I'm in, just follow me for a minute. Now I'm in this religious group, this religious community. And so now all these rules pop up. So now I'm green when it comes to the Bible, understanding the Bible. But with all the over 3,500 or more different sects, different sections of Christian belief, we have what we call doctrines. We have what we call dogma, rules that govern us, rules that we live our life by. All right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's time to wake up so that those same rules and dogmas and doctrine are not doing the very opposite of what you were told it was supposed to do. So I'm green, I'm just in, don't know that much about the Bible, but out of hunger and thirst to read the word and to learn. But then we also have what we call doctrine and rules. And for those of you that came up in a Christian community, Islamic community, you know that there's some strict rules, especially in the Pentecostal apostolic section of the Christian faith. There were many things that when I came in, watch this now, and I'm being as honest as I can be, I didn't necessarily believe. But because they told me this was the rules of the society, then I was being a good girl and I'm going to conform to the rules. I did not believe that wearing makeup was a sin, that wearing pants was a sin. I didn't quite believe that, but this was my rationale. I said to myself, okay, if I'm a part of any society or any group, you're going to adhere to the laws or the bylaws of that organization. So here I am, a young teenager, 15, 16 years old. And so because I wanted to conform and because I wanted to, be a good girl, so to speak, I conformed. So I took off the makeup. I took off the pants. But I never believed it was a sin. I want you to hear this. All right? And so moving forward, now watch this. I'm going somewhere with this. And I want to be as honest as I can because it's time for you to wake up. I mean, really wake up. So going further, I began to understand, and I was good at what I did. I knew I had a call to ministry on my life. I answered the call, but I answered the call in the confines and the guidelines of the religious doctrine and traditions. Honestly and truly. Also, I did not believe. I didn't believe that Jesus was the only way to God and that my religious belief, my Christian faith, was the only way that you can get to God. You know, I'm just talking about me. All right, so what did I do? I conformed. I learned all of the scriptures. I learned the doctrinal theory, and y'all know it, and I went with that. Okay, so I was called to ministry, and then the door that I went through, good morning, Marcus, the door that I went through and that sect of Christian religion, after a while, when I first came in, I came through the door of the Baptist church. 2 years into the Baptist church, I was introduced to the Pentecostal faith, which is the esoteric branch of Christianity. Got filled with the Holy Spirit, speaking in other tongues as the Spirit gave utterance, the whole 9 yards. But still, I want you all to follow me because you will never be free until you stop turning off the voice of God and the guidance of God that's in your heart and in your spirit. Good morning, Katina. Thanks for joining. Right? You will never truly be free. So what we're talking about today is time to wake up. And I'm asking the question, how free are you? And the thing that was meant to liberate you, we want to make sure it's not binding you. So I'm talking about my own experience, that how after I came through the door of religion, I turned off the voice of God to turn on the voice of doctrine and dogma. And for years, many of you, just like me, for years, we walked down that line conforming to doctrine, conforming to dogma, being a part of the group. There's nothing wrong with rules. There's nothing wrong with structure. Please don't misunderstand me. But what is wrong is when you turn off the very part of you, the God part of you, your God self, your God nature, when you turn that off to turn on adherence to doctrine and dogma, and your heart is telling you, I don't quite believe that, but because you want to line up, because you want to be a good girl, you want to be a good guy, yes, Luana, yes. You conform to that. So what ends up happening is that you're doing this now. This is not the devil and it's not God. What you do is you start putting up barriers and blockages to true guidance. To true guidance. So why are we saying it's time to wake up? Because it's time for you to stop living your life in fear and in bondage, because you are turning off the voice of God within. Now, y'all know this is true. Some of you all been in and around church for a long time, right? And buenos dias, Katina. Thank you for that. Yep, how you know I've been all in the Spanish language, right? Okay, so listen. When you come in that door of Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever your spiritual background and belief is, you cannot turn off the voice of God within to conform to rules that is causing you to set up all these barriers, all these mindsets. It puts you in a place of fear. And you guys know, this is the point I want to make. How many know that you've been in church years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you still know of people, or you may be one, and this is not to shame you, this is just to make a point. You still don't know if you're hearing God or not. You still don't know if you're being led by the Spirit of God or not. You're so fearful. So the point that I want to drive home today, the very thing that should have liberated you and brought you freedom is now binding you. It's now causing fear to be in your life. So the writer of John in 8:36 says, if the Son therefore have set you free, you are free indeed. But this is what happens. There's an inner freedom and an outer freedom. And so follow me for a moment. So inwardly, for those of you that were in the apostolic Pentecostal genre of Christianity, we were free because we sense a bit of freedom when we got emotional and we got up in the spirit. We sense freedom and we say that we are free, but outside of us, all around us, we're in a lot of bondage. We're in a lot of fear. We're in a lot of struggle. We're in a lot of confusion. And then we go back to church on Sunday, get what my bishop used to call a gospel, and we would take that pill, get that hit. We would feel that sense of freedom and liberation and then come out of there, deal with life, and we're right back. And why is it time to wake up? Because I don't want you to be afraid to follow the leading of God, to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, to follow the leading of inner God and source, whatever you want to call it, because of fear. So the very thing, watch now, that should have liberated you, the doctrines and the rules brought so much fear to you, stripped you of everything that would have brought you more insight, more liberty, and more freedom, shut everything down and made you confine yourself to a small portion of who you were supposed to be, right? And so we push doctrine and we pump doctrine. So getting back to my story, there were so many things I didn't believe, but I made myself conform because I was a part of this group. And I went on with that thing. And so many of you, good morning, Tony, thanks for joining. So many of you have ran down the same track that so many of us have run down. You're running down this track with a mask on because you're not being your real self. Oh my gosh. You're not being your real self. So we learn to put these masks on and we learn to conform and we learn, how to do everything just right. And we learn how to get the sound and to get the presence. But all along, and I know I'm talking to somebody today, all along, your spirit is leading you and guiding you into other areas so that you can explore them, but you're scared to death. You so afraid you're going to miss God. You so afraid you're going to miss the rapture. You so afraid you're going to go to hell. You so afraid the devil is going to trick you till. That's why you're stuck and your life cannot move forward. One of the greatest things that I experienced is the day when I gave myself permission to really hear my heart and to really understand what I believe and what I don't believe. So a part of what we're doing moving forward is that you have to go through a belief reset. And some of you are scared to death to go through a belief reset and begin to examine what it is that you believe, what you don't believe, what's working for you, what's not working for you. Because I don't want to go too deep, and on Patreon and our Patreon discussions, I go a whole lot deeper because I want you to understand some things. And if you're ready, come on and join me on Patreon. I'm ready for us to go deeper, right? And there's a reason why you have to buy into that. There's a reason, because I want the people who are serious, okay? So listen, how free are you? Are you full of freedom? Are you free or are you full of fear? There's a difference between inner and outer freedom. And what I want to get to today is, I don't want you to live your life with just having an emotional experience, just coping, going through the motions, wearing a mask, But in your everyday life, you're not getting any better. You're still struggling. You're still fearful. You're still afraid. Listen, beloved, when you are in real relationship with the divine, when you are really connected to source power, to all that is, when you are in divine alignment and you are aligning yourself in righteousness, I didn't say religion, I didn't say doctrine, I didn't say dogma. Even if there is such a thing as a rapture, even if there is such a thing as Jesus coming back, but you have removed yourself from that mindset or that belief system because you are divinely aligned and you're living your life connected to God, in alignment with God, there's no way you're going to miss it. Rather it happens or rather it doesn't. You shouldn't be worried about that. You should be what we call rapture ready, period. That if it happens, good. If it doesn't, you're not missing anything. We have so much that we have to do in this earth realm that I know some of you, y'all just waiting to be taken out of here. But let me tell you what I've found and what I've discovered with all my study and all my research. And trust me when I tell you, I've gone deep and I am still going deep. I'm still going deep. I don't care. See, when we are confined to religion, right, and all you know is what's in the box, yes, get in order. That's right, Luana, get in order. And if all you know is what's been given to you in the box of your knowledge, good morning, Oliver, thanks for joining. All you know is what's in that little box. Remember, what's in your little box. There's so much more knowledge, wisdom, and information and understanding. But if you're afraid to come out of that box, then you're going to continually live your life in a state of wondering, a state of questioning, a state of trying to, figure your life out when there's so much more. With all the research, all the study I've done, I don't care. And I know some of this stuff you all don't know about, but join me on Patreon so you can learn. I don't care if you go back to ancient Sumer, Mesopotamia, ancient Kemet, ancient Nubia. I don't care if you go into ancient Greek mythology or whatever you want to call it. Mythology, right? It's supposed to be a story that's not true, but it's always true. You'll get that later. In the emerald tablets, in the hermetic principles, right? As above, so below. What I've come to find out is the same things that we experience below is happening above. There has been no, I'm going too deep today, okay? There has been no other evidence other than your religious text that tells you when you leave here, you're going to go to a place that is nirvana. That's a utopia. Everything and every other writing, I don't care how many hundreds of thousands of years you want to go back, you're going to find as above, so below. What does this all mean? What is this all about? There is so much that I have to give to you to help you understand how to step outside of that box, how to step outside of the programming of the matrix, how to free yourself and liberate yourself 100% so that you can tap into your divinity, your divine nature, your God self, as the scripture even tells you, so that you can begin to affect change going forward, all right? So, yeah, my time is up again. This I want to leave you with so that you can understand this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go too deep. But this I want to leave you with today. You don't want to be in a place where you're supposed to have liberty, liberation, freedom, authority, power, creative power, and live your entire life battling and struggling and being depressed and being frustrated and being aggravated, right? And I always tell you, I give you this key. If you want to know where you are, Shina said, go deep. I'm going deep. Y'all got to come on and join me on Patreon. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm going to go down one more layer for you today. You're having such a hard time embracing your divinity and embracing your divine nature because you're stuck in this box of doctrine and dogma, right? Now, I want to make it clear again. There's nothing wrong with systems and structures and rules and guidelines. But when you put that above your ability to be led by your God nature and your God self and your divine self, then you are missing something. You are missing something. So now, the way that we have been created so profoundly, so intricately. You will be amazed at what is going on inside of this awesome machine that we call a body. But you all know that we have a DNA structure, right? So this is why we're all on this health and wellness path in the spiritual success community, because what you're eating and what you're putting in your body is doing so much to shut off your insight, your intuition, your sensitivity. We are sentient beings, and it's being shut down. Your pineal gland is calcified. That's why you're in depression and you're in confusion. It's the very things that we are eating. And science says that there are so many strands of DNA that we have, but only 2 strands are lit up. And the very foods that we are eating is keeping the others shut down. I'm saying all of that to say this. Listen, many of you are the custodians of your bloodline. You are here. You are the one that have the mantle to change and shift things in your bloodline. So the way that God created us, your DNA, your genes, they're reading and taking in everything in your environment. I think we call this epigenetics. I'm going somewhere. It reads and it takes in everything in your environment and begin to allow your genes to grow and develop to adapt to your environment. Listen to me, beloved. If you're living your life and you're staying confined in a box and you're full of fear and confusion and depression and frustration and aggravation, you're programming. Your genes are being programmed. Now, see, this is what we call generational curses. If you want to know how generational curses are created, this is how. It is not so much outside forces of demons and devils, although there's a part that plays. We'll talk about that later. But what you're doing is allowing your genes to collect all that data, and you're passing that down to your children. But you are here because you are the one. You are the one you are the custodian for your bloodline. That's why you're different. That's why you think differently. That's why you went down a different path. Your religious experience should have only been a door to get you on a spiritual path. Yes, genetic memory. Absolutely, Marcus. Yes. That is what create what we call generational curses. So what we want to do now is, because you are the custodian, you're the different one, you're the called out one, you're here to break that. But if you stay in the box of just that religious experience, that door, you should have came through that door to set you on a path for your spiritual experience. So one of the things that happened with me that I was so happy for, my time is up, is that in 2016, when I was released from pastoral ministry, that was like an epic day on my spiritual journey, and I didn't even know it was happening. But I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful that I was able to listen to the voice within. Maybe I didn't do everything exactly right. I didn't do everything 100%, but I am so thankful. Yes, I am so thankful that I was able to hear the inner voice within me saying, Don't get another building right now. Don't do that, right? And so I may not have done everything right, but this is one thing I'm so happy for. Me not allowing myself to continue in that box and coming out of that at the time that I came out of it allowed me to go on a 3-year journey, a 3-year hiatus, a 3-year sabbatical, where I was able to continue to grow on my spiritual path, not my religious path, not my church path, not my church doctrine path, but my spiritual path. And I want you, it's so much more I just want to release, right? I don't want you to be afraid. You cannot be full of fear. If the Son set you free, then you are free indeed, and you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid to continue on your spiritual journey, especially when you feel within your heart you're being called to explore. You're being called to go on an adventure. You're being called to trust that thing that's always been in your heart. Now, you all know I'm the master teacher. I am a seeker of truth. I am a traveler. You cannot label me or put me in a box. That's the one thing I am so grateful that came out of my experience after I left pastoral ministry, that I refuse to take on a label now, because I'm not a label. The minute we try to label things and define things, we instantly diminish it. We instantly diminish it. So I'm not a label. I'm not a title. Some people can't understand. How could you not still be a pastor? Because I'm not that label. I'm not that title. You got to come in and get the essence of who you are. You got to flow with the spirit of who you are. And I still continue to mentor, to shepherd, to lead, to guide, but I don't need that title to do it. So in my conclusion today, how free are you, beloved? It's time to wake up. I'm going to continue this because we've got to go deeper, because I want your mind free. And we cannot put each other in a box. Don't put me in a box. I won't put you in a box. Don't expect me to be who I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. That's not who I am. And I shouldn't expect you to be that way either. It's time to grow and go. Thanks for the love. Come on, y'all, give some thumbs up so that, you know, other people will be brought into this. Now, go to patreon.com/spiritual success, patreon.com/spiritual success. Come into any one of those levels, whatever you feel led to come in, but come on. I promise you, I got some stuff for y'all. I promise you, your life is only going to be better for having done it. Make an investment in yourself by way of Patreon and invest in my ministry and help me to continue to do what I'm doing, right? Do that. I also said that I'm going to start doing a midweek something live, probably on YouTube, and I'll stream it to Facebook as well. But it's time to reach more people. It's time. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go to Spiritual Success TV on YouTube and subscribe. Thanks for the love, guys. I love you so much. Thank you, Margot. Thank you, Margus. You are a custodian of your bloodline. Yes, you are. And it's up to you to now make the changes, get the breakthroughs, get the transformations that you're going to do. And help you to mind, I'm thankful that Marcus is with me on Patreon, getting that one-on-one coaching and mentoring. We're going deep, and we're going to break some barriers. We're going to break through some things so that you can start putting the right things in so that the generations coming behind you can have the liberty and freedom, because that's your job. That's why you are here. All right, beloved. Have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Share this video with your tribe. All right. Bye now.